Ain't nothing peculiar about the way that I was raised, and my arm is on the way.
They don't investigate nothing
That's what I was gonna
here,
say.
son. They don't investigate nothing here, son. They don't investigate nothing here. What? I'm like, well, here, just you guys are from here. Can I take you to the observation deck? Can I explain everything to you? And you just tell me from what you know. Because I really, locals are the best ones to talk to.
Alright, so let's talk. John Paul Miller said that Mica had been mentally ill and that she wanted to move away to Africa and wanted him to move with her, and she just wanted to go there because, she was out of her mind and, delusional and everything, right? But then you got Trisha Ross over here.
On Saturday, the Robeson County Sheriff's Office says they're actively investigating how the 30-year-old died. Her friends remembering how she lived her life.
She had a heart for missions. When she went to Africa this time, I'm sorry.
With her delusional crying, Trisha Ross and stuff, is she bipolar and schizophrenic?
She just fell in love. That was her heart. She'd do anything for anybody.
She's survived by her husband, the pastor at Solid Rock Church in Myrtle Beach. He says Mica dreamed of opening up a school in Africa and was always giving to others.
She was probably the greatest wife anyone could ask for. She was incredibly affirming. We spent every night together for hours, just talking and talking and talking.
And hours and hours and hours talking and talking. Yeah, because you wouldn't let that poor woman sleep.
Miller says her death was a suicide, but a cause of death has not been released. But many of her friends are struggling to come to terms with that.
This has to be at least looked into deeply. There's got to be some accountability here. Because the tragic life was lost, and it's not just as simple as somebody had some mental issues.
But Miller says Mica battled mental health issues for years, even speaking openly about it to the congregation.
She had struggled with suicide before, and each time, helped her through it, took her to her doctor, and we got through it, and everything was fine. She even gave a few testimonies here at church. We have on video of times where...
How convenient. When she was in Africa, she was set up to give that testimony, and it's so weird that it just pops up so conveniently whenever she passes away.
She battled suicide, but God took care of her and got her through it.
For families dealing with mental health issues, the pastor at Solid Rock Church has a message.
The second you see any type of sign, get them to a doctor. The second you see it, don't wait.
And he makes it seem like, oh, you missed the pill today, so you're hallucinating and delusional, and it don't work that way, JP. Alright, y'all remember when Mica was at the gas station and she went to Lumberton State Park and she supposedly called 911, and they're saying that she told the 911 operator exactly where they would find her and what she was going to do.
And drove to a pawn shop where she bought a gun and ammunition. She made another stop at a gas station, and then she drove to the Lumber River State Park in North Carolina, right across the state line. And it was there that she dialed 911, telling the operator exactly what she had planned for that Saturday afternoon in the woods, and where exactly they could find her body.
No, she didn't. She didn't even know where she was at. So how did she tell 911 operators exactly where to find her? She didn't even state her name, but somehow everyone knew her name right after the fact.
Took about 10 minutes. 10 minutes. And they found Mica Miller's body.
So they're saying within 10 minutes of her being submerged underwater and log and debris and stuff on her, she was found.
And though
in a restricted area at that.
JP had an alibi, and it was verified. And police had...
Verified by who, where, what, when, how. We haven't seen anything except for one picture that of the license plate reader. It was on some highway, which we don't know who was driving because you can't see inside of there. We haven't seen not one receipt. Heard any witnesses. We haven't heard anyone stand behind JP saying where he was at that day and that night and that morning. And now there's a 911 call stating that he was at his home that Saturday morning because he took off out of his driveway and about hit someone. I wonder why.
Receipts and videos and Mica's own words pointing to suicide. Mica's family and Mica's friends and seemingly half of the internet believed that John Paul of the Solid Rock Church was responsible for Mica's death. If he didn't pull the trigger himself,
Okay, so here we go where he's talking about when she was off her meds, she would have like psychotic conversations and delusions and all this stuff. Now, we just heard what Trisha Ross said.
Double-edged. The other phrase, she would say she wants to come home so bad, but her family won't let her. She told me she wanted to live in Africa and asked me if I'd live with her. I said, sure, if you take your medicine, you know. And so she told me if I'd give her some money and if I would write her a letter saying certain things in this letter that she would take her medicine. And so I tried that, and but she desperately wanted to come home. She was just so afraid her family would disown.
And that don't even make no sense. So Trisha Ross and all these people that went to Africa for these missions and stuff, were they all delusional? Do they all have mental health breaks and issues? Because she didn't go there by herself. Didn't JP say he was good with the finances and, you know, he could figure out the finances on how to get the children down to $300 a piece or something instead of $500 and all that? So is JP delusional too? Alright, and then here comes the other part. Let's see, where he's talking about the professional.
Take her to a professional. That professional would have known that she needed medicine. And the reason I know that's true is because I took her a few weeks before she passed away. I took her to probate court. And in 3 minutes time,
So he took Mica to court, and in 3 minutes time, y'all, at a probate court. I've never went to court before and had a judge or an attorney or something like that diagnose me as something when I'm there for a probate issue in a probate court.
she went in, she walked back out. When I went in, they said, your wife is mentally ill and she needs medicine desperately. And I said, okay, let's do it. Let's get her the medicine. Let's get her help. And they said she's not a danger to anybody in society, so we can't force her to do it. But if one of her family members or friends...
Oh, but you could force her to go into a hospital. You could, like, set it up and kidnap her and force her to go into a hospital after going to a probate judge or court for 3 minutes, and they diagnose her and say, oh, she needs all of this medication. Oh, yes.
Had taken note of the way she was acting and seen what was happening to her physically and taken her to just one professional, they could have saved her life. Where?
How could they? How could they, JP? You were the husband. You had more rights, and I hate to say this, but you had more rights over her than her blood family, than her own mother, father, sisters, anyone. You had more rights. So you can't sit there and blame the Francis family and saying, well, if they would have did this or if they would have done that. Didn't you force her? Didn't you kidnap her? You and Charles, didn't y'all kidnap her and force her into a hospital that your buddy's daughter and, you know, spouses and stuff work at? I mean, you gotta make it make sense.
Where were you when Mica died? It was on a Saturday. I was in Charleston with about 100 people from my kids.
I thought you was there Friday and stayed the night, Friday night.
What was it? Oh, soccer. It was a soccer tournament.
Yeah, let's play stupid. Oh, yeah, it was soccer.
Okay, so we know, I've gone through Mica's last day, pretty much almost down to the minute. What?
And so have we.
Bring us through your last day. You said soccer. Were there any? Do you have any documentation that they were there? Oh, you're asking because? Okay, I got you. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I can't believe people. Oh my Lord. So yeah, I was with about 100
You can't believe people. No, we can't believe you.
people. We had dinner that night. We were all together at the soccer fields that day.
I thought you were there Friday for the game and took everybody out to eat Friday night and paid for it because everyone was so shocked because Mr. JP, Mr. Big Baller, don't never pay for nobody. And he stayed the night at a hotel. Where's that hotel receipt? And he was with Susie. But then his daddy says, oh, no, he wouldn't.
Afterwards, after the soccer game, somebody was with me the entire time, who I can't name due to legal purposes, but I will say it's somebody that I love more than anything else on planet Earth. Man or woman? Young person that I cannot name due to legal purposes, but somebody that I am responsible for and love very, very much. And that person was with me, and we went shopping.
It's your kid. That's all you gotta say is my child.
In Charleston, and we got food in Charleston, and there's all the receipts from that throughout the time. I think we might have gotten gas too, and then made it back to Myrtle Beach. And I was just actually looking today at emails that I sent her that day. I sent her 4 emails that day.
Sent her 4 emails that day. Now think about this, y'all. Husband and wife that are together, so in love, but she has a restraining order against him and no contact. She's got a new phone number, new phone. He's emailing her, blowing her up. Now Regina Ward, this is something we learned recently. Regina Ward said that she served him papers on Saturday. And that interview guy said the day that she passed. And she said, yes. I know since the last couple days she's retracted that, or whatever, but she made sure she threw in there that, oh, Regina Ward's on the case, so it must be a big case. Now remember, Mica went to 3 attorneys. Nobody would take her case. She was turned down. They said, oh, no, we don't want to touch this. Nope. But Regina Ward took it.
And I just noticed today that 2 of those, she wasn't able to read because it was after it had happened.
And we know he's sending all these emails because he just told us now. And we know that he sent her an email saying, let's meet up. We can meet somewhere. Don't know where somewhere was. And, we can sign these papers and, talking about the trip to Africa and, taking her dreams away, her delusions, I guess, away, and saying, let's just get this over with.
What do you think happened that day? Had to do in the past, and according to her doctors, who've taken care of her for years, and according to me, who's seen it over and over.
Where are these doctors at that's been taking care of it for years and years and years and years? I know it's like patient confidentiality and all that, but when a person's passed, the laws kind of change. And with you being the husband and them releasing the body to you and you putting all the information in her medical exam, you would think you would have proof of that.
Over again. I imagine that she was in an incredibly euphoric attitude. I saw her pictures on the Dick's Pawn Shop. Someone sent me screenshots of the Dick's Pawn Shop pictures where she's smiling.
She wasn't smiling like being euphoric or anything. She was being nonchalant. She was comfortable at that time. I'm not saying like she was, great or anything, but I mean she was having casual conversation with the clerk and smiling, things like that, like a normal person would do when they are inside a store. She was not in there euphoric or any of that.
Which out of the 6 or 7 times that she tried to commit suicide in the past, only one of those times was she depressed. The other times, she was very euphoric. And she would wake up and say, I think I'm supposed to die today. And I said, no, honey, you're not going to do that. She said, well, my mind tells me that I'm supposed to kill myself. I said, we're not going to.
And that's not how that works either. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, but through my personal experience with dealing with someone with schizophrenic, yes, they do have delusions. They do hear things that are not there. But they're not like in this euphoric state as JP is putting it out to be. Yeah, they'll see things or whatever and put themselves in danger trying to maybe chase down those things or whatever, but I don't know, it just don't make no sense to me.
So to your mind, we're going to take you to a doctor and get you help. And I discovered, of course, that she had stopped taking her meds each time.
And I mean, she was over doing all these jobs and over so much stuff in the church, and I mean, I couldn't even keep up with all that stuff that she did. And I'm sure, like me, you, and 10 other people, the things that she did, like she put in work, and no one saw this. I mean, everyone said that when she was over the youth group and stuff, that thrived. So you would think, with her being so delusional and psychotic and euphoric, parents would recognize that, and they would not allow their children to be around that. I mean, that's a danger to the kids. So is JP admitting to putting children in danger? His children as well? I mean, even his own ex-wife didn't want the kids around JP. Now, she was fine if Mica was there, and was helping take care of the kids. She was like, yeah, the kids can come visit. But if Mica wasn't there, JP didn't just get the kids, y'all.
Either way, she was in a euphoric attitude. And so you see the Dick's Pawn Shop video where she's wearing her work clothes and with a smile on her face. So they sold her a weapon, and then
So they sold her a weapon. So he's trying to put it on the pawn shop people. It's not on them. And back when I was younger and I had an incident happen that was really, really close to me, where the person went to a pawn shop. I mean, I wanted to blame them for what happened, but I mean, you can't blame them. I mean, they're there to do their job. They're doing their job. They do the background check, whatever they're supposed to do, I mean, they don't know if someone is mentally ill, or, I mean, I'm sure sometimes they can tell, like, somebody comes in there acting a fool or acting crazy or whatever, yeah. But I mean, she was in there and Mica was acting normal. She was acting nonchalant, casual. She was acting like a regular human being when you go into a store to purchase something.
I assume that she drove. She told one of her best friends. So far, the 4 people she spent the most time with every week, no one's interviewed or talked to those 4 people. And one of those people that I talked to told me that she told her 2 years ago, if I ever commit suicide, I'm going to go to this place in Lumberton, the state park or something like that.
Which friend is that?
So how does she not know where she was at, y'all? How does she not know where she was at? Like, if this was something she planned out and told this best friend, the people that she talked to the most, which I thought it was JP, because according to JP, she don't talk to nobody but him, and, but that she was going to go to this particular place that she's never been to, had any experience there, heard anything about, nothing. She just made it up in her head and said, hey, I'm going to go do this at this place. And then when I get there, I'm not going to know where I'm at. I'm not going to give my name. I'm not going to tell them exactly where to find me. I'm going to go hide and do this so they can't find me. But then I'm found in 10 minutes somehow. I mean,
I probably wouldn't want to name her because I saw this friend.
Why not? Why not? You want to clear your name so bad? Why not? Name them. I would. I'd be like, hey, they said this.
One time here in public for 30 seconds. And of course, Robbie S. Harvey, as usual, got somebody to take a picture and destroyed the girl's life, brought up her past and horrible things about her. So people are scared to tell the truth or to talk about the good things of Mica because of the social media.
I haven't heard anybody scared to talk good about her. That's all we've heard is good things about her. I mean, it's been quite the opposite, you know. We've heard nothing but good things about her. Nothing about, oh, she was mentally ill, she was delusional. All this is from one person. So I would think that, you know, if it was the case, they would want to step up and be like, hey, you know, yeah, JP's right, but nobody's standing behind JP, not even his own father.
Well, this friend says that Mica told her, if I'm going to take my life, I will probably do it in Lumberton River State Park.
She told me that after Mica passed away, but she told me that Mica told her that 2 years ago, yeah.
Did she say why? Why that location?
She said because Mica told her it was peaceful and outdoors, and Mica did love the outdoors, loved that.
How would she know it was peaceful? How would she know anything about the place? I mean, she didn't even know where she was at. But supposedly, you telling me she had all this planned out?
Outdoors. Vacations were outdoory vacations because that's what she loved. But so
has she ever been there?
No, not that I know of. Not ever that I know of.
Do you guys have any connection to that area?
Not at all. I never even heard of
there?
Nope. I've never even heard of the place. I never even heard of. Was the city Robinson County? I've never even heard of there.
Oh, now he forgets what the name of the place is called. But he just got through saying it like, what, 2 minutes ago?
Before.
So did it strike you as, before you heard this, did it strike you as odd when you heard that where she went and what they say allegedly happened? Did you question it at all?
Well, I didn't think it was real. I thought her family had made it up and had somebody call me and say that. So that's one big thing. I didn't think it was real. When I found out it was real, you know how like you tell somebody something, you tell them. Then when it happens, you don't want to say I told you so because it's a horrible thing. That's what I felt like. I felt like I told y'all, like I told her family this so many times you can't imagine. I told her friends this. I told everybody. I said, if y'all don't.
Why do you have to tell anybody anything? I mean, wouldn't they be able to see it for themselves? If she came off her medication so many times and, you know, doing all this stuff and shooting up neighborhoods and, you know, all this. I mean, I would think people would just automatically know if she was that bad off. I mean, how was she even able to function in society and do anything if she was that bad off?
Get her lithium. She's going to commit suicide. Her doctor told her this on paperwork where her doctor said this. And
that's not how it works. I'm sorry, JP. That's not how it works.
And then when I get the call, I felt like the world's biggest failure because I spent the past 3 months when her family got her out of the hospital and didn't bring her home, and her dad talked her into buying him a car, and all this stuff was happening that was all crazy. I made a vow that I was.
Her dad talked her into buying him a car. Did y'all just catch that?
And didn't bring her home. And her dad talked her into buying him a car, and all this stuff was happening.
Where's this car at? And how could she buy him a car when she couldn't even get herself a car?
It was all crazy. I made a vow that I was going to do something every single day to try to get her back on her lithium and save her life. And so every day I did something. Sometimes I did 4, 5, 6, 7 things. Some days it's just one thing. But every day, whether it was an email, a text, visit someone, talk to a family member, talk to a friend, go somewhere, go to a judge, go to probate, I'm going to do something to save her life. And I spent every single day for those 3 months doing that. So getting that phone call made me feel like the world.
So So he spent every single day harassing and stalking and threatening her and driving her up the wall.
World's greatest failure. I was against the whole world because everyone told me that it wasn't true and that I was making it up and that whatever they were saying.
So everybody was already telling you that you was making it up and that it ain't true, and you know that you're making it up and that it ain't true, but you're still trying to convince everybody that it's not made up and that it's true.
Ain't nothing peculiar about the way that I was raised up.